There are people who seem to defy time. They are 40, 50, even 60, and yet they radiate something that cannot be explained with an anti-aging cream or a good exercise routine. There is a light in their eyes, a strength in their presence, an energy that simply does not match the age marked on their ID. We are not talking about surgeries or filters or privileged genetics. We are talking about something deeper. And no, this is not a fantasy or a self-help cliché. It's a reality that many do not want to see, because accepting that your way of living is aging you is more uncomfortable than blaming biology. But the truth is this: aging on the outside is inevitable, but aging on the inside is a decision. There are those who are already dying in life at 20, and there are those who still burn with passion at 50. This video is not to tell you what you already know, it's to shake you up. To show you that true youth is not found in a mirror, but in the way you think, feel, and face the world. We are going to talk about 8 lessons that have nothing to do with supplements or gym routines, and everything to do with how you live your life. Lessons that have roots in Stoic philosophy, but that you can apply today, in the everyday, in the real. Because if the soul fades, the body follows. But if the soul ignites, no wrinkle can extinguish that light. Do you really want to stay young? Then pay attention, but with the ears of your heart, not with the superficiality with which we live today. Because what you are going to hear is not soft, it's necessary. Dance with change, don't resist it. Time is like a river that never stops moving. You can build a dam and try to stop it, but eventually the water will overflow and sweep everything away. Or you can learn to swim in its current, flowing with it, not against it. There are those who age because they spend their whole lives fighting against the inevitable, change. They cling, resist, tense up, and that internal rigidity breaks them. Changing is not an option, it's an obligation of existence. Everything changes, the body changes, relationships change. What you have today may disappear tomorrow. And if your identity is tied to things you can't control, then you live in a prison disguised as stability. There are people who cling so much to the past that they end up dying prematurely, not on the outside, but on the inside. Because resisting change is like trying to stop the dawn with your hands. Absurd, exhausting, and totally useless. Stoicism teaches you something that no one else dares to tell you. Don't control what you can't control. Don't waste your energy trying to avoid what's going to happen anyway. Learn to let go before life rips things away from you abruptly, because when you face change with fear, you suffer twice. You suffer for what is gone, and you suffer for not knowing who you are without what you lost. Dancing with change means accepting that you won't always understand what's happening, but you still decide to move with the rhythm. It means that if life changes the music, you don't just sit there bitter, but you learn a new step. And no, it's not easy. It's not about smiling as if nothing hurt. It's about toughening up inside without becoming stone, about continuing to walk even if you don't have a clear map. People who stay young are not those who have everything under control. They are the ones who adapt, the ones who fall but get up wiser, the ones who understand that life is not made to remain the same, but to transform over and over again. And in each transformation, if you're willing, you can find a more authentic version of yourself. There are people who carry the face marked by the frustration of wanting things to be as before, as if the past could be relived, as if the future could be forcibly molded. But that's not youth. That's exhaustion disguised as nostalgia. On the other hand, when you accept change, something inside you relaxes, the mind opens, the soul breathes, and then you rejuvenate. Because you stop fighting what you can't beat and start living with what you can choose. And yes, change hurts. It hurts when you distance yourself from someone. It hurts when you close a chapter. It hurts when the body no longer responds the same. But that pain doesn't have to be your condemnation. It can be your rebirth. Only if you stop seeing it as a threat and start treating it as an opportunity. So look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I aging because life changes, or because I refuse to change with it? The answer to that question not only defines how you feel, it also defines how you look. 2. Master the inner storm. Think of a volcano. From the outside, it may look like a quiet, solid, harmless mountain, but inside, pressure builds up. Gases, fire, boiling lava. If no one contains it, it explodes, and it wipes out everything. This is how your inner world works. You can show calm, smile, carry on with the routine, but if you don't learn to manage what's going on inside you, one day it's going to explode. And the damage, sooner or later, is noticeable. On your face, in your body, in your life. Many people age not because of the years, but because of the emotional pressure they carry inside. They are walking prisons. They carry accumulated fear, undigested frustrations, buried guilt, and emotions they never dared to face. And do you know what's the worst part? They think it doesn't show, but it does. It shows in the dull eyes. It shows in the drooping shoulders. It shows in that tired look that no longer has a hunger for life. The real enemy is not outside. It's not the boss who pressures you. It's not the partner who ignores you. It's not the traffic, the economy, or the clock. The enemy lives inside. It's the way you react to all of that. It's that voice that tells you that you can't. That impulse that makes you scream before thinking. That wound you never wanted to attend to. That lack of control over your inner world is what's taking years off your life, even though you're still breathing. True youth is not wrinkle-free skin. It's a soul without unnecessary burdens. And for that, you need to master your inner storm. You need mental strength, not to become insensitive, but to have the courage to look inside and say, this does not control me, this does not define me, I choose how to respond. Stoicism does not ask you to stop feeling. That would be ridiculous. What it asks is that you don't kneel before every emotion, that you don't live being a slave to what you think or feel, that you don't react like an animal every time something bothers you. It's about observing, breathing, deciding. It sounds simple, it's not, but it's what sets you free. Do you want to stay young? Then start letting go of the resentment you've been carrying for years. Stop chewing over conversations that have already passed. Stop building castles of anxiety in your head over things that haven't happened yet. Every negative thought you feed is a drop of poison that seeps into your system. Every unmanaged emotion is another stone in the backpack you carry every day. And walking with so much weight, that's what breaks you. People who look young have one thing in common: inner lightness. Not because everything in their life is fine, but because they don't drag themselves down with what they can't change. They learn to let go. They learn to breathe in the midst of the storm. They learn not to give power to every fleeting emotion. So look at yourself honestly. How much energy are you losing every day because you don't know how to calm your interior? How much of your youth is going not because of the passage of time, but because of the emotional tension you carry? Mastering your inner storm is not an option, it's an urgency, because if you don't learn to do it, you'll live exploding inside while aging on the outside. 3. Keep the spark of wonder alive. Imagine a candle lit in the midst of darkness, small but powerful. It gives warmth, it gives light, it brings life to the surroundings. Now imagine that, little by little, the air around it becomes dense, heavy, polluted by routine, by fatigue, by apathy. The flame does not go out at once, it simply begins to flicker, to shrink, until it disappears. This is how wonder dies in many people. Not in an instant, but slowly, without them noticing, while the soul is fading away. There are people who age because they have stopped being amazed. Everything seems repetitive, predictable, boring to them. They walk through life with a dimmed gaze, as if they had seen everything, as if nothing could touch them inside. But it is not age that made them this way. It was resignation. It was letting routine kill their capacity for wonder. Do you know what people who seem younger than their age have in common? Curiosity. They don't necessarily jump for joy or live laughing all the time, but they have something inside that never went out. They stop to look at the sky. They ask questions. They get excited about a conversation. They keep exploring, they keep searching, and that gives them an energy that no supplement can imitate. Stoicism does not oppose wonder, on the contrary. It invites you to see everything with new eyes, to understand that each day is a gift that can be lost at any moment. The Stoics lived with death in mind, and precisely because of that, they valued every moment. Because when you know that nothing is eternal, everything becomes extraordinary. But for that, you have to make room. And here comes the uncomfortable part. You can't keep the spark of wonder alive if you're full of cynicism. If every new experience is contaminated with your bitterness, your sarcasm, or your defensive skepticism. There are those who believe that being indifferent is being mature, that not getting excited is a sign of strength. But it's not. That attitude is just a shell built on unhealed disappointments. True strength is to continue allowing yourself to feel, to be amazed without fear of being exposed, to look at life again with a hunger to understand, with a thirst to discover. And that, believe it or not, rejuvenates. Because when the mind remains open, the spirit remains young. There is no age for wonder, but there is where when you lose it. There are those who sit and wait for life to give them a reason to get excited, and there are those who go out and look for it, choose to be the latter, choose to read something new, talk to someone different, walk down a street you don't know, choose to ask, choose to explore. Because when you stop doing it, you're not living, you're just surviving. And if you don't do it out of passion, do it out of strategy. Because ceasing to be surprised by life also makes you harder, more inflexible, older inside. And what rusts inside ends up breaking on the outside. So every morning, ask yourself this question: am I living like someone who still has fire in the soul, or have I given up without realizing it? The spark of wonder does not depend on having a perfect life. It depends on having the courage to look with new eyes, even in the midst of chaos. Staying young is a daily choice, and it starts with this: don't let the flame go out. 4. Let your soul have a voice. Imagine a perfectly tuned musical instrument locked in a box. Nobody plays it. Nobody listens to it. Day after day, its wood dries out, its strings rust, its sound fades without having been played. This is how many people live, with the soul locked up, quiet, silenced by fear, by habit, by the need to fit in. And that, although not visible at first glance, is aging them from the inside. Your soul has a voice. I'm not referring to something mystical or a poetic idea. I'm referring to that part of you that knows what you love, what moves you, what really matters to you. That part that whispers to you when you're doing something that goes against who you are. That inner voice that many end up ignoring for years, until one day, they can't hear it anymore. And what happens when that voice goes silent? You become a false version of yourself, a mask, a person who does what is expected, who says what their environment wants to hear, who acts to please, to fit in, to not disturb. And that wear and tear, although you may not notice it at the beginning, is breaking you. It drains you. It dries you up. There are people who look old, not because of their skin, but because of the lack of authenticity in their gaze. Because they have spent so much time hiding what they really think or feel, that their soul stopped fighting to get out. And living without a soul is not living. It's fulfilling a role. It's playing a character. It's dying slowly while others applaud your performance. Stoicism is not just about enduring pain or controlling emotions. It's also about integrity. about living in coherence with who you are, about acting according to your principles, not according to the approval of others. Marcus Aurelius had it clear: what matters is not what they say about you, but whether you can live with yourself when you are silent. And that's what rejuvenates: authenticity, the ability to speak from the soul, to make decisions aligned with what you believe, even if they are not popular, even if they disturb. Because living true to yourself relieves a huge burden. It frees you. And with that freedom comes a different energy, a light that is noticeable, that cannot be bought or faked. But of course, saying what you think, doing what you love, living with honesty, it's scary. Fear of rejection, fear of making a mistake, fear of disappointing. And out of fear, many keep quiet, they turn off, they become distorted versions of themselves. And every time you do that, every time you betray your soul to please others, you lose a little more of yourself. Do you want to stay young? Then start listening to yourself. Really, be silent, turn off the noise. Ask yourself, what part of you have you been repressing? What decision are you postponing? What have you not said for fear of not being understood? What are you doing just to look good? You don't need to shout. You don't need to confront everyone. You just need to be loyal to who you are. No more disguises. No more acting to survive in an environment that doesn't even represent you. Because when you speak from the soul, you live with a different strength. You breathe differently. You walk with more firmness. And that authenticity, it shows, it's felt. And yes, it also rejuvenates. So don't keep living with your soul in a cage. Open it, give it a voice, because a life that is silent on the inside ends up being a slow death on the outside. 5. Walk with those who ignite you. There are embers that burn alone, but if they are not fed, they go out. Fire needs company, dry wood, oxygen, heat from other flames. The same happens with you. You can have all the energy in the world, but if you live surrounded by people who only know how to extinguish, criticize, minimize, and absorb, your fire also begins to die. It's not cheap poetry, it's a raw truth. Often you don't age because of what happens to you, but because of who you share it with. There are people who take years off your life. Not with violence, but with indifference. Not with shouts, but with their constant negativity, their eternal complaint, their ability to kill every illusion with a single phrase. They are experts in drying your soul without you realizing it. And if you're not alert, you end up resembling them. The people you walk with shape your energy. It's not about emotional elitism, it's about spiritual survival. If your conversations are filled with gossip, envy, complaints, mediocrity, conformity, then your soul begins to adapt. Your mind lowers the volume of its dreams so as not to disturb. Your body gets used to the fatigue of not moving forward, and that ages you. The Stoics spoke of the inner circle seriously. They knew that you can't live with virtue if you're surrounded by people without purpose. They knew that the soul strengthens in the company of those who are also on the path. Because it's not about looking for perfect people, but people who want to grow, who challenge you, who inspire you, who ignite you. Maybe you can't choose everyone around you, but you can choose who you deepen with, who you share your time, your thoughts, your struggles with. And there lies the key, because every moment you spend with someone, you're exchanging energy. And if you do it with someone who has nothing inside, you end up empty. There are people who are fuel for your inner fire. They listen to you attentively. They tell you truths that hurt but awaken. They push you not to give up when you want to let go of everything. Being near them renews you. They shake you, remind you who you are, give you back the desire. Walking with them keeps you alive. And then there are the others. The ones who are cold water, the ones who extinguish every spark with their pessimism, the ones who see your growth as a threat, your ambition as arrogance, your joy as exaggeration. And they tell you with jokes, with disguised comments, with looks that weigh. Their closeness is a constant drain. They suck your vitality even if they don't shout at you. even if they smile. Do you want to stay young? Surround yourself with life. Not with young bodies with dead minds, not with popular but empty people. Seek ignited souls. People who still feel curiosity, who are hungry, who are not ashamed to dream. People who make you feel it's worth getting up. And also be that person, because you can't demand energy if you yourself live turned off. Be the one who inspires, the one who listens, the one who lifts, the one who ignites. That way, you will also attract the same. The youth of the soul feeds in community, but not just any community, one that lifts you up, not one that holds you back, one that confronts you, not one that flatters you, one that walks by your side, not one that drags you. Walk with those who ignite you, because if you spend your life with those who extinguish you, no matter how old you are, you have already started to age from within. 6. Ignite your inner fire. There are bodies that move, but they are dead inside. They follow routines, respond to messages, attend meetings, but there is no fire, no spark, no hunger. They are alive, yes, but extinguished. And this extinguishment does not come with age. It comes with disconnection, with forgetting who you are, what moves you, what ignites you. There is nothing that ages faster than a life without purpose. You can eat healthily, train every day, and take care of your skin with expensive products. But if you wake up every morning without a compelling reason to do so, wear and tear is inevitable. The soul withers when it has no direction. And when the soul goes out, the body follows. The inner fire is not empty motivation. It's that force that lifts you up when no one is applauding. That will that drives you to move forward even when everything is against you. It's your why, your cause, your north. And if you don't have it clear, you slowly dilute yourself in monotony, in mediocrity, in the routine that kills. Stoicism speaks of purpose as a necessity, not a luxury. Living without purpose is living without virtue. And what has no virtue rots. Marcus Aurelius had it clear. Every day had to be useful, not spectacular, not perfect, useful, meaningful, because that's what ignites the inner fire. Knowing that what you do matters, even if no one sees it. Perhaps what ignites you is not grand for others. Perhaps it has no applause or fame. But if you do it from the soul, that's enough. What's not enough is to spend your whole life extinguishing your fire for fear of judgment, laziness, comfort. Because that does age. Living without passion consumes more energy than fighting for what you love. Have you ever wondered what things you stopped doing because it wasn't the time? How many times did you extinguish your desires to meet others' expectations? When was the last time something made you vibrate from within? If you can't answer, your fire is going out. Ignite your inner fire, even if it burns, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it leaves you alone for a while. Because a lit life can hurt, but an extinguished life is a slow death. Choose to move with intention, act with meaning, speak with truth. Don't just survive, live with direction, with courage, with fire, because there is no possible youth in a body that no longer burns from within. 7. Let go of the stone you carry on your back. It's not visible, no one else notices it, but it's there, a huge stone that you carry every day in silence. A mix of old guilt, mistakes you don't let go of, betrayals you don't forgive, words you didn't say, decisions that weigh on you. And even though you keep walking, even though you smile and fulfill everything, that stone is breaking your back. It exhausts you, it ages you. Many live like this, not because they can't move forward, but because they've decided to carry everything they should have already let go of. They cling to the past as if letting go would betray their pain. And with each passing day, that burden becomes heavier. Sometimes it's a guilt that won't leave you alone. Sometimes it's a grudge you carry like a shield. Sometimes it's a regret that echoes. But always, without exception, it's something that no longer has a place in your present. The problem is that no one teaches you to let go. They teach you to endure, to resist, to swallow hard, to act as if nothing. And so, without realizing it, you become a slower, stiffer, more tired version of yourself. It's not the body that's old, it's the soul, deformed by years of poorly processed emotional weight. The Stoics knew that there is no freedom without detachment, that you can't own your life if you're chained to what has been. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not justifying. It's not acting as if it never hurt. Letting go is recognizing that what happened no longer has power over who you are today unless you keep giving it. Ask yourself this with brutal honesty. What are you carrying that no longer serves you? What pain do you relive every day out of habit? What person from the past still determines how you live the present? What mistake are you clinging to as if it were your sentence? Maybe you think you deserve that weight, that carrying it is part of your punishment, but it's not. Carrying your past doesn't make you strong. It makes you a slave. The truly brave thing is to let go, to say, I understood the lesson, now I move on. And yes, sometimes that means forgiving. Not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Youth is not just a matter of years. It's flexibility, it's lightness, it's having the ability to move without the emotional backpack of a lifetime. There are 20-year-olds completely rigid inside, locked in an identity built on unresolved wounds. And there are 50-year-olds who walk with a free soul because they left behind what they couldn't change. Letting go is not giving up. It's understanding that you can't move forward if you're looking back all the time. It's having the courage to open your hand and drop that stone that has cost you so much, because what has cost you doesn't necessarily serve you. So take responsibility. Don't victimize yourself. Don't make excuses. The stone is there because you keep carrying it. And today, right now, you can decide to let it go. No one else will do it for you. Because until you do, no matter how much you take care of yourself, how hard you try, how much you advance, you will always carry the weight of what you were, and that inevitably will break you. Let go of the stone. Not because it's easy, but because continuing to carry it is silently killing you. 8. Speak to yourself as you would to the one you love the most. If someone you love were going through a hard time, what would you say to them? Would you shout at them that they're useless? Would you remind them of all their mistakes? Would you repeat to them every day that they're worthless, that they'll never be enough, that they don't deserve anything? You wouldn't, because you know that's not love, it's punishment. And yet, many talk to themselves like this. Every day, the most destructive voice you'll hear in your life won't come from outside. It will come from within. That voice that criticizes every step, that mocks your attempts, that minimizes your achievements. That voice that doesn't forgive, that compares you to others, that repeats to you that you're not enough. And that voice doesn't age the body, it ages something deeper, the relationship you have with yourself. There are those who appear strong, but they destroy themselves inside every time they fail. They don't allow themselves a mistake. They don't acknowledge a victory. They live as enemies of themselves. And that leaves marks, not only on the soul, but also on the face, in the posture, in the sparkle of the eyes. No body can withstand living under constant attack. Stoicism talks about the importance of internal dialogue, not to sugarcoat reality, but to make it manageable, to accompany you with firmness, not with cruelty. Being stoic is not being cold or punishing. It's being disciplined and compassionate at the same time. It's demanding the best from you, but without becoming your own executioner. No one is going to take care of you like you. No one is going to understand you better than you. No one is going to be there with you at every fall like you. So why do you talk to yourself as if you were your worst enemy? Where does this habit of tearing yourself apart from the inside every time things don't go well come from? Maybe you grew up listening to criticism. Maybe you were educated harshly. Maybe you got used to thinking that treating yourself badly is the only way to improve. But that's false. You don't need to destroy yourself to grow. You need to demand from yourself with love. You need to be firm with your mistakes, but also recognize your progress. You need to become the kind of person you would like to have by your side in difficult times. Speaking well to yourself is not weakness, it's survival. Because no one ages faster than those who live at war with themselves. The soul shrinks, the energy fades, the will breaks. And the most dangerous thing is that all this happens in silence. No one sees it, but you feel it. If today you find it hard to look at yourself in the mirror with respect, start by changing how you talk to yourself. Don't say what you wouldn't say to the person you love the most. Don't repeat insults that sink you. Don't force yourself to carry the guilt of a lifetime. Start to accompany yourself, not to destroy yourself. Start to be someone you can trust. Because true rejuvenation begins there, when you stop being your own punishment and become your own guide, not with empty words, with honesty, with courage, with affection. Exactly how you would treat someone you deeply love. If you're looking to stay young, strong, ignited, first you have to be a safe place for yourself. Because no matter how much others love you, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't accompany yourself, if you don't listen to yourself, then there will always be a part of you that will continue to wither. Speak well to yourself. Speak truthfully to yourself. Speak lovingly to yourself, because no one can bloom if they live in hostile soil. And you are the first ground in which you must grow. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.